Yeah. It was check 1 1 3 3 3 Mike. It was a fine print PSA written once under the channel name. I think it was either that or Show One Season One, and somewhere there was a one written channel, PSA, fine print PSA somewhere. It just says clearly in clear basic ABC English text, fiction that worked well in the old neighborhood. Say, I moved in here last October, and for the next 3 months, I was expecting one of the neighbors to come up and say, "Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. I live over here in it." For the next 3 months doesn't sound a little bit ridiculous, or maybe that's just a magic. I don't know. Anyway, it states fiction entertainment, a talk show, fiction entertainment, and I've said before and before, this it was going on live for just a 15-minute trek from the Fort Trumbull nuclear submarine parking spot, United States Navy's Fort Trumbull State Park, Connecticut State Park in New London County at the very least, as America contested for now, and it was like that for years because of Squirrely's fat cousins and 9,000 incumbent employees in the area. Well, there was one, two, and three that we knew about. There was a manual manufacturing company, and then there was the programming of after it was built, and then there is the soldiers, that would run the machines that would run that would hold the bombs, that were allocated, I guess would be a word for it, by another, and they were all imported Middle Eastern, work visa, going for green cards, so they could live in the new Mecca out west, larger fish to fry. Man, we're all patriots here. At least everyone in the states, has seen a flag once or twice before. It says, well, I need to get a hard copy for myself. Is what I want all 3 seasons on DVD, and then we'll just wipe one off the nets or make it an 18 and over, restricted this or that. Since it's fiction entertainment based on real life events. There was things that needed to be said. I got out a small bit. Oh, well, this is who I am during Show One Season One, and then a couple chapters later, making jokes and small talk around a couple of eggs. It was well, would rather spend the whole whiles talking about that, but there comes a time, I find out, I'm an actually, in my opinion, so far after reviewing segments and segments, I find out that I'm a pretty interesting person when I get to know myself via watching the segments prior, and reviewing myself. I find out I'm an interesting guy. Says, yeah, it's not like these stories haven't been told before. It's just they were told live from 2006 to 2018, and have recording privilege because it was an active life or death, you know, red terror threat 24/7 for 7 years of the the Hussein administration. You know, I mean, a 24/7, 365 for 7 years straight. It was a terrorist threat level red. One false move, the ICBM or which one, and they each have the force of 10 atomic bombs that blew up Japan's. Each ICBM is 10 atomic bombs, and how many ICBMs? I'm not going with kiss and tell, but I know, that there was USA, yeah, and then there was the pro New Mecca. For there is no USA. We love the Manhattan explosion. We love the Pentagon bombing, and we're here to claim the country for Muhammad and Allah. Say, and it's just it hasn't been said yet as far as a state address or a presidential address, as far as, and there's all sorts of suspicionness about, well, all these New London think got these and isn't that suspicious, mysterious? Maybe we'll find out in the next 10 to 25 years, in some kind of side report, in case someone does, a 2 year research into it. They'll get a small halfway censored document. I don't even know if the World War II documents from Grant's voyage are completely uncensored or made public yet. I was understanding that at some point the captain logs for the USS Seacat SS 399, which left New London, went to the Great Bay of China, saw the surrender of Japan, and then made it back to New London, which was an amazing voyage in itself. It's too bad it had to be a military voyage. I'm sure the sailors were hoping it would have been more of a deep sea exploration rather than Germany and the Holocaust is over there. Why are we going to why did they Pearl Harbor anything in the first place? But it was before Pearl Harbor. They were on their way, and etc. Different talk for a different time. I was trying to tie in Smothered and Sicilians and how Swedish House is is equal or just as great in power, I'd say, as Bonanno House. You know, not that I'm gonna go ahead and says put together the country of Sweden and the country of Sicily, but whilst in the red, white, and blue district, the USA's the nation that might still be standing 3/4 way after what kind of common presidencies, laws have mixed what around to make room for, and I'm the 3,000 employees were referred to the Tri-Town area is what it was. We had to make space for an extra 3,000 people, and that's making space for 3,000 extra imported people that skip El Asile with work visa, pro Middle Eastern coalition for Cold War and war after Cold War, Soda Ting. And they wanted to talk about this, and I wanted to talk about, Gramps' brother William, which I put a little leeway into. He just simply slipped off the top of a submarine and drowned in not even in the ocean. They didn't even leave Fisher's Island. He didn't get to go on and be a Navy for 50 years and see, you know, USA victory over Japan, and then a USA failure again, surprise attack from the Middle East coalition. No, people died. That was we start off as a down one peg. Okay, they're winning, and I lost track since then through Medley through 4,000 days after 4 years or 5 years of let's say you can start 13 as an explorer, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's just about 6 years. We'll call it, a half decade of life, for our nation's defense and patriotic reasons. I was no longer the millionaire, billionaire Gerber baby playboy for GDP Underground, the Keelan Garcia's future husband, or one of the Midland girls, or Paris Hilton's baby, or her sister's, who just he happens to be the current president's daughter these days, and there was more because of the relationship to the Swiss millionaires, billionaires, the Hoffman, the inventor of LSD 25, synthesized LSD 25, lysergic acid diethylamine 25. The Swiss invention, Hoffman. Yeah, well, his first cousin, and they grew together and lived in the same family before he started working at Sandoz in 1930. They both lived in the same area of Switzerland, and were like brother and sister, but first cousins. She didn't just. That's not how she lived her whole life. No, it was illegal money in the states, because it was since what, 66 or 67. Whenever it was outlawed. At least Woodstock 69. They said that's enough acid for the people. Great grandmother of this nameless of Andy C. in the New England radio show, just a 15 minutes further. Now in a recording capable area. His half trailer apartments. Would be a millionaire, billionaire playboy if he could. Unfortunately, there's this, that, and the other thing, and we were talking about how she had to work for it to the bone, and it was restricted, and his money from the Hoffmans is probably restricted as well. Just because it's a Schedule One. And we're getting a little bit tossed and turned. We have a 15-second I'm a little bit shaken. I mentioned bananas, everything banana, Sicilian, everything Sicilian, and I was saying, 110 years these two families have lived next to each other. And where's the fame for chickity chick, chick, 221?